All right, welcome to the January 20th County Commission meeting. It's 4 o'clock and we'll start the meeting. We will stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag,
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and so we're going to start with our citizens we were heard at 4 o'clock. But one thing I want to note before we start that is we did have a public hearing that's been open. It was the Novak zone, and that has been pulled by the applicant from consideration. So that request was scheduled for consideration tonight, and we will not be considering it tonight or in the future. Do we have any citizens in the chambers that would like to be heard? Oh, come on up.
My name's Kent Green. Thanks for allowing me to speak up here. The reason I'm here is there's been some conversation on our Rally on the Rocks event this year, April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. There's a trail that is called Behind the Rocks. We are not running that trail because of that. We don't want to conflict with any other event that's going on, like Mad Witch Hunt or anything like that. We just want to be clear with that. We're going to contact with BLM. We're in contact with that. And also on the sand flats area, during 30 minutes. So on trail, those are barriers and fence and things, they'll be 30 minutes apart, so we don't jam up everything. But I just wanted to make that clear that that's what we were going to do, and we are not conflicting with any other event out on the rocks. So that's what I want to say. Thank you.
And I forgot to mention, so was present as Trish Dean, Commissioner Jock Heather, Commissioner Brian Martinez, Commissioner Mary McGann, Commissioner Mike McCurdy, Commissioner Bill Winfield, and myself, Valerie McCandless, as well as our attorney Stephen Stocks, Administrator Mark Tyner, our clerk auditor Gabe Wojtek, and our assistant administrator Quinn Hall. Is there anyone else in the chambers that would like to come up and speak? Anybody out there in the hallway that wants to come talk? All right, anybody online, Quinn? Okay. Well, then we'll just move along. So we have some presentations today. And public hearing. So we are going to start with it. Do we have anybody some partners online?
And no, please. Let me put it down.
Okay. Okay, we'll just skip over that one for now, and we will start with Tess. She's here.
Yes.
Yep, there she is, Tess. So we'll do the 2025 employee years of service recognition. Tess Barger, our personal services director.
Quinn, do you mind if I share my screen?
No.
All right, great. So every year at the conclusion of the year, we celebrate 5-year mark anniversaries for our staff here and our team members here at Greens County, both electeds and employees included. And so for the 2025 year, I have Mark Tyner, Commission Administrator, up here to help me present those awards. So we'll go ahead and first start with our 5-year anniversary awards. And some of our staff and team members are here to accept, and some were not able to. We're going to go ahead and read the names of all staff that are receiving those. And then of course, ensure that we have the opportunity to introduce to our audience those of whom who were able to attend here in person today. So for 5 years, the awards for 5 years of service go to Scott Soley of Search and Rescue Team, Constance Bridgeford of Search and Rescue, Jared Meter of Search and Rescue, Misty Kovacs of the Green County Jail, and even though he may be hiding over in the corner, Quinn Hall of Commission Administration. Quinn, would you like to go ahead and come up here to accept your award?
Scott's also here.
Scott's here too, yes.
Sorry, I should have seen the neon orange. That was definitely an oversight on my part. Quinn.
Thank you, Tess.
And here's your.
All right, and Scott, thank you so much for your service. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Scott has confirmed that he did forget, but wouldn't everybody be so lucky as to receive an award just on a whim, right?
Oh, man.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, you guys.
We clap. Great, we'll go ahead and move on to our 10 years. All right, excellent. So for our 10 years, and I'll also add that a number of our staff have already rounded the corner of entering and have passed their 11th and are also in their 12th year of service now with the county, actually. But we have Sylvia Payne of Grand County Library, Jason Meadows of the Roads Department, and then here today we have our treasurer, Christopher Kaufman. All right, technical difficulties. There's technical difficulties with handing out certificates and filling out.
Okay, I'll get it later.
Yeah. This is one of those times where we say, my goodness, how did I find myself the one with the microphone that's actually talking in front of everybody? Thank you all so much for bearing with me through this. All right, we'll go ahead and now present to Commissioner Mary McGann, who is in her 12th year of service. Oh, thank you. All right. We'll go on and move to our 15 years. So celebrating 15 years with Grand County includes Anthony Mosier of our Roads Department, Meg Flynn of Grand County Library, Burl Green of the Roads Department, Jacob Blackwelder of Search and Rescue, and Joe Thurman of the Grant Center. And unfortunately, none of them could be with us here today, but all right, and celebrating 20 years. And we have quite a few from our 20 years who were able to be here today, but Emily Butterfield of the Grand County Attorney's Office was unfortunately unable to be here, as well as Sandy O'Donnell of the Grand County Jail. But with us today here, we have Jennifer Tibbetts of the Assessor's Office. All right, and also from our assessor's office today here, we have Marcy Van. Yeah, there you go. Also celebrating 20 years of service to Grant County is Mindy Lambert of the Grant County Dispatch Team. All right, and our final 20 years of service recognition goes to Judge Stanley Welch O'Donnell of our Justice Court. All right. And so for both our 25 as well as 30 years, unfortunately, those staff couldn't join us today, but we certainly want to particularly highlight them and their incredible tenure here with Grand County. We have Michael Striblin of the Rose Department and Carrie Valdez of Grand County Library celebrating 25. And the Rose Department continuing to round it out and just put us all to shame. We have Dwayne Franson celebrating 30 years.
Bosses.
And that concludes our awards this year. And I conveniently, because Chris Kaufman is so amazing, I actually had his on the top of a different stack. So I will be tracking him down to say thank you, thank you, thank you, apologies and thank you. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tess. Thank you, Laura. Okay, so now we have the road department. They got a lot of tenure in that group.
Yeah, they're great.
So the Four Corners Community Behavioral Health has now come online. Yep. Is it Melissa?
Yep.
Okay, and Melissa's going to, this is an annual public hearing that we have to do every year, and she's here to present.
All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you for allowing me to come today, Grand County Council, in order to do the public hearing for citizen input. I like to I'm Melissa Huntington, sorry, the Executive Director of Four Corners. And I like to just give a little bit of information about why we do these. So by Utah code, every local authority around the state, which Four Corners is one of 13, we are directed to allow for citizens of each of the counties that we represent to provide input and review or any kind of feedback they'd like to give us for the services that we provide in their counties, substance abuse, mental health, or within the correctional facilities. So that's why I'm here. We do this once a year, every year around January. And we would be open to any feedback that anyone wants to share.
Thanks, Melissa. Should I ask if there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak to this public hearing? Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak to the public hearing for Four Corners Mental Health, Behavioral Health? Any questions or discussion from the commissioners? We think you do a great job in our community, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your guys' support as well.
Okay, well, we will close this public hearing then unless there's anything else. Thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll move on to more of our presentations. We have the Grand County Sheriff Service Awards, and those are going to be presented by Sheriff Wiggins.
Someone walk by.
So that's Sergeant Hyatt of the search and rescue. We want to recognize some individuals that happen to work for EMS, but they also work for search and rescue. The first incident we want to talk about is the Fisher Tower incident on November 1st, 2025. Hit Maggie Nielsen. And to Michael, and again, we'll come up here. So this was a SAR incident. Of course, sometimes EMS goes hand in hand with search and rescue. They responded to Fisher Tower for a medical assist following a base jumping accident. The subject was located 200 feet below the summit. With the parachute snagged on a ledge, responders repelled to the subject, applied tourniquets, stabilized the injuries. Star 8 with the Department of Public Safety arrived subsequently. performed a hoist extraction, and the subject was transported to St. Mary's and he survived. So if it wasn't for these individuals, that outcome could have been a lot different. Beautiful. So just one thing I wanted to say about our incredible staff. I mean, our work with search and rescue. Our guys work so closely, and gals, sorry, Maggie.
Thank you.
Work so closely together that it's almost seamless. It doesn't matter if they're on SAR that day or on EMS that day. The patient needs treatment. Somebody is going to take care of it. This call in particular, when Mike and Maggie were kind of recounting what happened, and Mike kind of talked about it this morning in our board meeting, but it's a call. I've been down a lot of cliffs in my life here in Moab treating patients. And the last time I went down, I was like, I have kids. There's other people without them that should be doing this. And so I don't go over cliffs very often anymore. But when they were recounting to me the experience of going over, I don't think I've ever done anything that what I call sketchy here. But Mike pointed out this morning that it's really a team effort. And the reason he felt super comfortable going over first and Maggie came second, repelled after, was because of the incredible SAR members that were up top that he knew he could 100% count on as he went down and tourniqueted that guy's leg and helped get him the care that he deserves. So I just wanted to mention that it's Sheriff Wiggins already mentioned it, but it really is a really close team effort. We really appreciate that. So congrats, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Also, on a side note, dispatch is not really recognized as much as they should be, but our dispatchers stayed on the line with that subject, if I recall correctly, the entire time until first responders got to them. The next incident is for Chris Murray, works for EMS. So on this one, this was the Moab Skyway incident. This was the famous one that you could see from town. On November 12th of 2025, SAR along with EMS responded to Moab Skyway for a base jumping incident where the subject's parachute was caught on a ledge. SAR members were flown to the rim and repelled down to the subject with a paramedic, Chris Murray. After the subject was stabilized, SAR 8 with Department of Public Safety hoisted them to an awaiting ambulance. And the subject was transported to Moab Regional Hospital and he survived. And, oh, sorry. I should stand.
I got it.
This incident was famous because you could sit here with binoculars, right? And so everybody, in fact, my crew, when I didn't know what was going on initially, everybody was on the deck at the station and I'm like, something's going on. And so that's when you saw the shoot over there. But just again, team effort, and really impressed with the deputies. Brad was there as well, helped coordinating and making things happen, and the rest of the SAR team. But yeah, we're very grateful for the training that we work together on and that we're able to do this. And I know that gentleman and the gentleman from Fisher Towers have both reached out. They're very grateful for that. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate all of our volunteers and EMTs, fire, and search and rescue, and Mary.
Yes, I want to thank, we have one of the busiest, don't they say we have the busiest search and rescue team, not in the state, in the nation, and they do incredible work. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, Back from Beyond, you are missing out. When you hear that, you recognize how intense and difficult these rescues are. I mean, they are oftentimes putting themselves in harm's way. And I have always admired, but after listening to those podcasts, my admiration just went through the roof. So just thank you. You're the heroes of Moab and Grant County. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we are gonna move on to our presentation by Chris Wood. And it is the UDWR health check presentation. Here.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Wood. I'm the Regional Supervisor for the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. I'm based out of Price, but myself and my team, we have biologists and employees in all of southeastern Utah. We cover Grand, Carbon, San Juan, and Emory counties, parts of Marine and Garfield. I'm here today to present check to the county. I come almost every year to do this. And kind of give you a quick update of what we're doing in the county, and thank you for your partnership and your commitment to supporting us and love for wildlife resources. So today I'm giving you a check for $4,358.49, and it's a check that we call PILT, our PILT payment. So PILT means payment in lieu of taxes. We own several thousand acres in Grand County. I'll just go over real quick. We have about almost a little under 1,200 acres at Nash Wash. It's on the edge of the Book Cliffs there. It's also called Cunningham Ranch. So we own that. The Division of Wildlife Resources owns that. We also own about half of the wetland preserve in Moab, the Scott and Norman Matheson Wetlands Preserve. We own like the northern half, and the Nature Conservancy owns the southern part, and we kind of manage it all as one wetland. So we own that piece of property, and then we have the Little Creek WMA is in Grand County. It's a little under 7,000 acres, and then Little Creek, these are bigger properties. But part in Grand County is about 710 acres. So we appreciate your support. Ultimately, what's happened in the last year or so, we've made some improvements at the Sago Trailhead, which is the trailhead that sportsmen and horsemen and recreation is used to go into the backcountry of the Book Cliffs, the roadless area. And so we appreciate that and your support there. We own and manage this land for wildlife conservation and for hunters and fishermen and recreationists that are compatible with our land uses. But it's the money that we use to buy these properties comes from hunting and fishing dollars. And so as an agency, we manage wildlife in Utah, all wildlife, but a lot of the management is through hunting and fishing. That's where we get most of our resources and money from. But we also manage all species, and we have a crew of 4 full-time employees who live in Moab. They're our native aquatics crew. They hire a team of 10 seasonals every summer, and actually it's more than summer. And they run the Colorado and the Crane and the San Juan rivers, doing fish surveys from early March through November. So most of the year. They're a great team. You might know some of them. Let's see here. We appreciate the support that we receive. Commissioner Hedin, I don't know if you know this, but she's actually Dr. Hedin. She has a PhD in natural resources with an emphasis in wildlife. So she's a great supporter of wildlife, and we appreciate her connecting us with the community. This last year, we've started to take more action to try to manage chronic wasting disease in this area. Chronic wasting disease is a disease that is primarily in deer in Utah, but it's kind of a hotspot of LaSalle Mountains. I don't know about Valley specifically. And so we came with Commissioner Hedin, and she's put us in contact with Castle Valley. We had a community night out there where we had a presentation and a Q&A with the residents. On March 27th, I believe, we'll be going to the Moab Information Center, have a community presentation there. But we met with the city folks, the city leaders here in Moab, and the first step we're going to do is education. Try to understand, we're going to understand what this disease is and how we are actively managing it and what citizens can do to help us manage it. So with that, also give a shout out to Chris Scoville, the Solid Waste Special Service District. He's worked with us to help us make disposing of dead deer and hunted deer that people harvest, those carcasses. We've worked with him to help us and our constituents, how we make it easier for them to dispose of those things. So Thanks for all your support. I can answer any questions if you have any questions. We're just actively engaged in doing wildlife management. It's very young. We're all our partners, or state and federal partners do a lot of habitat restoration work. A lot of private landowners, nonprofit groups also chip in their time, money, expertise to help us do everything from, restoring stretches of river along the Colorado River or San Juan River to, restoring aspen stands, the high elevation, everything in between. So Utah's doing a lot of work for wildlife. We love mule deer in the state and in this county. And we have a new director, Riley Peck. One of his big goals is to increase the mule deer. And so right now on the LaSalle's, we're a little under our objective. Our goal is to have 11,500 deer on the last LaSalle unit, and we're about 8,800 here. So we want to improve the deer. We want to improve deer conditions on the mountain and deal with deer issues in the valley. So they're two different issues, right? So anyways, we love mule deer in this state and this county, and we love elk as well, and bighorn sheep. And I mean, there's a lot of things we love. And so we're actively managing those species. Just last week, we were our biologists, but we're the Potash area, and we put 10 GPS collars on bighorn sheep to help us understand what their movement patterns are going to be. We're going to arches next year to do the same thing because the herding arches. We want to see what those bighorn sheep and arches are doing. So we're working with a lot of partners, a lot of science, a lot of universities to understand this better. Thank you for your support. And with that, I can drop off this check and answer any questions you might have. Yes.
Go ahead, Mary.
You mentioned that there was things that residents could do to help with it. Could you tell us some of the things? So
Yeah.
we know, and also a lot of people listen and help.
The number one thing they can do is not feed deer. And so that's when you feed deer, you congregate the deer and you spread chronic wasting disease even more. And so people love deer in this valley, but if they'll find food, we don't need to feed them. If you do see deer, residents see deer that are showing signs of chronic wasting disease, they're kind of lethargic, they have droopy ears, they're drooling, give us a call. We'd like to investigate it and see what we can do. And then of course, if there are dead deer around, you can call dispatch, they'll get a hold of us, or you can call our front counter, our headquarters price, they'll get a hold of us and we'll remove those deer and get them tested.
And then the other thing is disposal,
And
right?
disposal, yes. Disposal was quite pricey for residents after they harvested a deer off the mountain. So you'd see people, because the cost was so high, putting their carcass on the preserve, just right outside of town, in an empty field, and that's resident disease as well. And so we worked with this first special service district, and to greatly reduce the costs. It might be free.
It's free. I
It's
think.
free now. You have a deer, yeah, so that's a great service. If you're gonna bring the carcass into town, the best thing to do is to take it to that transfer station and they'll dispose of it properly. But putting it out on the landscape after you brought it back into town to cut up the meat is actually spreads the disease even more.
And these guys have just the presentation that they do, the state vet through the Division of Wildlife came down with the biologist, and they just have so much data because of the collaring. It's just unbelievable. And so they'll be able to, you're gonna do something at the MIC, is that
Yeah,
correct?
our state veterinarian, she's
Um,
very smart.
Yeah.
People much smarter than me will present the mix and give, and we'll make sure that it's at a level that people can understand it. But people are, as you know, people in this area are very engaged and they love science and they love data. And we've been very well received with our information. So we look forward to continuing doing that next year.
Yeah, it's a really concerning disease. It is predominantly in deer, but it is in elk too. We've definitely had some.
And it's high in Colorado, which is why it's probably highest here, because it's coming from Colorado. So this is kind of a hot spot in the state. What is a hot spot in the state? So.
Is it dangerous for humans to consume the meat from an animal that's been infected?
Yeah, there's never been any known cases of the disease transferring from animal to humans. But if we test, we would like people to get their animal tested once they harvest the animal. And if it comes back positive, we ask you to let us confiscate it and we incinerate it because we don't want it in the environment. So we advise people not to eat positive animals.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's you. Yes.
We'll move along to our general business action items and discussion and consideration of approval. First one is commission member disclosures and future considerations. Go ahead, Councilor McCurdy.
Just disclosing, my wife works for the sheriff's department.
And my usual, my son works for Sand Flats and my husband's in.
Okay, anybody else or any future considerations?
Sure, I'd like to mention that for the next agenda that we put something on there regarding a study at the airport, which will help with the EAS and the AES contract. I just want to make sure that's on the next agenda, and we'll have to get the exact information from our airport director to Dana.
Okay. So the approval of consent agenda items, and those are A, the approval of meeting minutes for January 6th, 2026, the ratification and payment of bills. Bills were $2,508,043.97. Payroll was $321,745.33. So total bills and payroll is $2,829,789.30. Is the ratification of the renewal of the I-70 billboard contract. D, ratification of online letter in support of continued federal funding for trails. E is a letter in support of continued federal funding for trails to our Utah delegation. Is that gonna go to even our federal delegation too? I think.
Should go right on.
Should.
I think that's, yeah.
Ratification of local consent, the Canyonlands PRC of a rodeo. G is a cemetery board appointment. H is a letter of support for rural Utah motion picture incentive programs to our legislators. I is the purchase of inflatable riverboat for our search and rescue. J, express elevation subscription renewal. K is the contractor agreement with Pronghorn Construction for Arroyo Crossing Phase 2 using CDBG grant funds. L is the CDBG interagency agreement with Grand County and Aurora Crossing. M, consulting party status with Bureau of Land Management for the 2026 oil and gas sale in Grand County. N is an approval of lease assumption lot 118 CNY. O, low income housing loan contract. P, contract with Jones and DeMille Engineering for Sand Flats Road, the build, better utilizing investments to leverage development planning grant application. Q is the bid award and notice to proceed in contract for the ARF vehicle. And R is consideration of approval of revised adopted job descriptions, and those were previously approved with our budget. Trish?
May I pull item O, low income housing loan contract, discuss that separately?
Okay, we'll just put that at the end of the agenda, at the end of the meeting, okay.
Oh, sure.
We're gonna pull O from the consent agendas. Go ahead.
I'd like to approve the consent agenda as read minus O.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, Brian seconded, so we have a motion from Mike McCurdy and a second from Brian Martinez. All in favor? Okay. That passed unanimously. We'll discuss the low income housing loan contract later. We'll just put that at the very end. Maybe Number 10, probably. Number 10.
Okay.
All right, number 3 is our community wildfire preparedness plan, and our emergency management director, Kate Finley, is here to present that. With Bryce.
Rio, sit here,
No, you can go wherever you want. I think some people prefer the that microphone projects into the audience and this projects like online. So if you talk loud, people can find you can hear.
we'll go with that option.
Okay.
We have some slides, so we'll take a minute and get those pulled up to keep us on track here. So
So my name is Nick Finley. I'm the county emergency manager. This is Bryce Rogers with Rim to Rim Restoration. One of the partners who worked on this plan, we'll talk about how it's a collaborative process. We'll see some of the other partner agencies on the screen. This plan covers unincorporated Grand County as well as the city of Moab. When we started planning, we were initially just planning for Grand County. However, given that the creeks are a fire risk that kind of tie the city and county together, we decided to incorporate a plan for both of those jurisdictions. So as far as what the CWPP is, Community Wildfire Preparedness Plan, this is a plan that's updated every 5 years through a collaborative planning process that sets out what we as a community are going to do in order to address our wildfire risk. So we set goals in broad areas for mitigation, preparedness, prevention, and maintenance. The other thing that I want to flag up here is that communities that participate in Utah's cooperative wildfire system, we are one of those communities, are required to have a plan. So not only is it just good practice, right, to address risk in our community, if we want the state to share in the cost of catastrophic fires, we need to have a current plan and maintain it. So the plan was included in the packet. I'm going to cover some of the major goals in each of the prevention, preparedness, mitigation areas. So you can see on the screen some of the prevention goals. A lot of these were in the last plan as well. They're just goals that we collaboratively said, hey, like, we're going to keep focusing on some of these things, right? Like, we're always going to be trying to prevent human-caused ignitions. We're always going to be doing public outreach. One of the new ones to point out here is implementing House Bill 48, which is the wildland urban interface modifications. Moving to preparedness goals. One of the ones that I wanted to flag up here was outreach about defensible space. Bryce is here through Rim to Rim if you want to talk about the fire break campaign. I think this fits in.
Sure, and we also have Clark up here from the Fire Break campaign too. Yeah, so the Fire Break campaign is using the Community Wildfire Defense Grant, which started in October of 2024 and will go through the calendar year 2029. The idea is to remove and mitigate as much fire fuels as possible within Grand County, specifically within the creek corridors and the wetlands, which are, as Kate pointed out earlier, are high priority areas. The idea with the grant is to try to assist private and public property owners in removing fire fuels that they would not normally be able to do. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really have a chainsaw crew in my back pocket. So
moving on to mitigation goals. Maybe, there we go.
there it is.
A lot of the mitigation goals, again, are going to be pretty consistent with the last plan in terms of fuel reduction, noxious weed proliferation, trying to limit that, and then just providing education to the general public on how we can best address hazardous fuels. And then there's also a section for past goals. So County Roads has been doing a ton in terms of roadside mowing and tumbleweed burning. They're going to continue those, maintaining fuel breaks. And then we also added in just an annual review of like, hey, where do we stand in terms of these goals? So the thought there is we're not trying to just have a 5-year plan that we put on a shelf and then we forget about it for 5 years until we have to write it again. We want to revisit this with leadership every year to make sure that we're actually doing the things that we set out to do. That is it in a nutshell. We are here to answer any questions that you may have. And then Bryce also wanted to talk about the Team Rubicon event that's coming up.
So real quick plug for that. So this is just a save the date. You guys are all going to get hopefully a very nice nudge. Also come out and join us. Team Rubicon will be here from March 16th through the 22nd. And we have a property out in the county that is near vital infrastructure that we are hoping to mitigate about 5 acres of fire fuels on.
Where at? Where did you say?
It's out in the county, kind of near the golf course.
Oh, okay. So they're going to be here the 16th through the 22nd, and is there a time there's going to be like a special presentation or a special time we should go out?
So we'll be reaching out what times for you guys to come out, and hopefully everybody can find time to come out at least in the evenings. There's fireside chats with the crew as they kind of end their workday, or there's even the opportunity to come out whenever they have briefing in the morning. Then you can come out and see the work done if you really like to be around chainsaws and clippers.
Thank you. It's an amazing group.
Right, any other questions? Thank you, it's great. Okay, so we are approving the community wildfire preparedness plan for Grand County. Go ahead, Commissioner McCurdy.
I'd like to make the motion. I move to approve the 2026 Community Wildfire Preparedness Plan for Grand County and the City of Moab.
And Jacques seconded, okay, so. Motion by Mike and a second by Jacques. Any other discussion? I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Okay, and that passes unanimously.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so our next one moving along is with Jenny Beth. I saw her out in the hallway a bit ago. There she is. Okay, so the 2026 special events, high impact events are ready for review. Will be presented by our special events coordinator, Jenny Beth. Just.
And I threw a couple more on there. I don't know if you guys saw that, but totally spaced them.
Oh shoot, we're on number 4. So yeah, legacy. I was talking about legacy event.
Oh, we're doing legacy first.
Yeah, I messed up.
You're good.
So number 4, skipped it.
Okay, so the legacy list, we are looking to add to for some events that are high impact that are recurring and have been in good standing. Most of these events you should be familiar with because you've seen them many, many times. For the very first one, Mad Moose, they put on several events every year. So I'm just looking to make their them as a whole a legacy event. We have the Moab 240, which is a 240-mile race that begins and ends in Moab. The Moab Trail Marathon is put on by locals every winter, all winter. The Skinny Tire Festival, both spring and fall. The Jinx Star Ranch, which I question that one because it's on private property in Green River, so I don't. It's on my list of high impact to approve as well, but I don't know if it even needs a special event permit. But we can come back to that. The John Wayne Grit Series, which is a benefit for the John Wayne Cancer Foundation, and then Jeep Jamboree. Were there any questions specifically about any of those?
Go ahead.
Just, is there just a threshold as far as time frame that they've been with us? Because I know, for example, the John Wayne Grit Series, that's a fairly newer event. Like I remember when it came to be. So is there, do we say 10 years and then they're on, or what are our, what are the characteristics that define a legacy event?
It's in the ordinance.
Oh,
Should have
okay.
brought it with me, but I believe it's 5 years.
Okay, 5 years. Okay, so that helps.
5 years, that seems like it was just yesterday.
I know it does feel like it was just yesterday. That's why I asked. I was like, yeah. And then just in good standing, never had any issues. No complaints. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion. I move to approve the special events legacy list as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mike and a second by Bill. Do you have any more discussion? Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you for continuing to work on this. Special events are near and dear to myself. Been working on it for years, and glad to see you continuing to put the rubber to the road. So thank you.
You got it.
Go ahead, Brian.
Jenny Beth, I just have a question. You mentioned Mad Moose events. So is that all events that currently take place, or is that all events that will take place? As in, if they had a future event that's not on the list, would add into their legacy list?
Great question. I don't know, is Mad Moose here? No. I would
I would
assume
think
that
it'd have
they-
to go 5
Not
years.
gonna add any new events. They have so many. Of course, the marathon.
Sure.
Canyonlands, they're already on the legacy event. They just, I mean, they're in great standing. They have so many events, but that's a good question.
It is a good question because they do add new ones, you know, I know they kind of like bought up some of the others. So like
That's
the
true.
Amasaback event, for
That is
example,
true.
they bought that up. And so I think that is a good question, Brian.
We can revisit that one for sure.
Yeah, if they wanna put new ones on, we'll probably wanna bring it back because
Probably.
they are hitting that time threshold. Go ahead, Jacques.
Do you know how many events that Mad Moose is running currently? Is it like 8 or 10?
I think it's eight to 10, say a year. And that's not counting the ones that are in San Juan County as well.
Go ahead, Mike.
I just hope we're in continued talks with Office of Tourism on the 250,000.
Yep, the co-op grant. Yep,
Yes,
there's
the
also
co-op
a,
grant
it's
and
also live
the
right
event
now.
host or the
Yes.
event promoters, et cetera. We'd really like them to do, we'd like them to do well.
Absolutely,
We're putting that forward too, so please continue to reach out to them.
I will. Yes.
Okay, so more discussion, go ahead and call for a vote. We had a first from Mike and a second by Bill, so those in favor? Okay, so that's unanimous. Now we can move on to number 5.
Right. And I guess it's on me, I need to review the ordinance a little more, but private property. What are your thoughts?
I think it was on private property. It just crossed into Grand County briefly,
Okay,
and then went right back into Emory County. Or,
That was the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Thing you're thinking of. The Jenk Star one is the building man.
oh, the Jangstar one's the building man one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe if there's a certain number of people that are coming to an event, even if it's on private land, they have to have a permit.
okay,
I remember in the past, we've had
okay.
some on private lands.
And do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, and that's the case. I mean, if I can pull the application, but if it expands beyond the facility, and even if it's not designed for the intent, that's the original idea. That we made a carve out or change about having consolidated events, but those are established for that use for a bigger event. So I'd say it's probably better to have it as an event and go through that process. And then there's insurance and everything, if it's within Grand County.
Sure.
And if it is, then that puts, and especially, I mean, the bigger the event, the more we'll need emergency personnel services potentially to respond to an incident, especially if it's out there in the middle.
Okay, thank you.
And if you'd like, you can send me the application and
Okay.
anything.
Great. So in that case, we have Building Man, which is taking place near Green River, April 30th through May 3rd. It's a festival type event that features sustainable living art and music with family-friendly hands-on learning workshops. And then we have some 2027 events, and like I said, I threw 2 on there this afternoon. So if we need to delay those, that's fine. I just wanted to present them because they are not only on the same dates, but they are both wanting to rent OSTA. But before we get there, we have the Red Rock Rally, which is April 22nd through 24th, 2027. You all are very familiar with that one. I don't know if that's Jeep Safari 2027. Does anyone know that offhand? Not Jeep Safari, car show.
I imagine it's car show. I looked up the date. It's the last weekend in April, so
Because the next weekend moves into May. I don't think that they ever do it May, so
Okay.
it'll be the same dates. It's car show.
And then the two conflicting events are Rafters on the Rocks and the Grenadier Gap.
Have we, have we talked to both event hosts and seen the availability of,
I believe Angie has.
okay,
Um,
and
I think she was gonna leave it up to you guys.
You mean to decide which one gets it?
can we just talk to them first? Okay,
Probably a great idea.
Right.
Um,
Go ahead, Stephen.
How did it happen?
One additional,
How's it happen?
on the application for the building man,
yes.
they might want to check their times because on setup day, they have going from 8:20 AM to 4:20 AM. And then event day 11:40 PM to 1:20 AM. And so their times are, it looks like a little bit off, but
Right.
they were doing nighttime activities. If you really want to know if those are.
I can confirm.
Go ahead, Trish. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, or questions.
Okay.
So maybe, and I haven't really gotten to this, but maybe let's just talk about just Building Man and Red Rock
Okay,
for now.
I think
If
that's
you
one.
think that's a good idea. Just Building Man and Red Rock,
yes.
two that were originally on there. What's the total participants on Building Man? Sorry, I know it's on the application, but if you could just give us a quick overview of size of those two. Okay, and then Red Rock on the size.
That one says estimated 2,000 people, but 380 motorized vehicles.
And I did call Jenny Beth about this today because I just kind of forgot. It was concerning to me to start approving 2027. When we haven't had the 26th event. And she did remind me that we changed the ordinance to do the 18 months out. So I just wanted to kind of say that out loud so that the general public knows that. And then I did ask her if we have the ability, if 26 goes awry, to pull their approval for 27. And she assured me that that is the case because it really concerns me to, be approving something so far out when we don't know how 26 will go. So I appreciate that. And I just wanted to convey that to the general public.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner McCurdy.
Just to get on some sponsorship cycles.
I
And
understand.
their
Right.
repertoire,
Yeah, I
the
understand.
rodeo, Rally on the Rocks. I have to be almost two years out on some of the events I put work into. And I expect
I
the same with
understand.
everything.
Yeah, I understand. I think it's important that we have the ability, even though we approve something, if this year goes completely awry, we have the ability to pull that approval.
I double checked that as well. I was like, I know I want these to go out further, but I also want to, we haven't had this one yet. And and of course it concerns me because it is during car show. And that was one of the things as well as, that we don't want them to be dragging Maine with all the old cars. So, hopefully it goes off really great. Did you? And then we can have it the next year. So I'm all for approving it this year, or for 2027, and hoping in the 2026 was amazing and wonderful, and we're gonna be happy to have it back at that same date in 2027. So do we have any other comments?
And they still have the requirement to go through the exit process and they'll still have to do documentation up to the event, plus insurance, and you'll review all of that as well.
With previous recommendation, I would love that we do reach out to those other two, the Raptor on the Rocks and the Moab Grenadier.
Yeah.
I have attended both events. They were great. I just know that OSTA can't handle both of those events at one time on the same thing. Yeah.
So I will reach out to Angie. I tried calling her this afternoon with no luck. So are we thinking next meeting or next quarter on those two?
Next meeting.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation.
Probably next quarter. If we just added them today, we could probably do them next quarter. Did you just get them today?
No.
No.
But they need to know sooner than that, don't they?
Yep.
Probably.
Because one of them's going to have to change their date or cancel.
But this is for 2027 events, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And
We have time to put it on the next.
And I can reach out to the event holders as well.
also in that same thing, I know that at OSTA facilities, the Wrap Around the Rocks event was held on one side and has a list of 200 attendees with less than 100 motorized vehicles, and what Grenadier used inside facilities in over covered facilities. So even in that, we'd have to talk with Angie, not the event host, but I know that there's separate areas that, it's not that many people to actually fit in those two. I just don't know if they're gonna cross over.
Right, absolutely. It's a concern.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So what, should we discuss a process if there is conflict and we only have to decide between two of them, that how we do that? I think it would be pertinent to have Angie in the house. Yeah, at the next meeting.
Yeah, and do you think we should do it next meeting, or we should just hold it to the next quarter? I think there's still plenty of time. I mean, they have way more time than what they had prior to the changes in the special events
16 months
ordinance.
out.
I
Yeah.
still hold the availability. If they get back with you tomorrow, I would think next meeting would be appropriate to be. Unless it's a heavy discussion, then I know we could push it out to the next quarter, but they have the same issue of getting on how do you say, sponsor event cycles, so they need that time.
Would the next quarter be 3 months from now?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
I would just recommend that we move it off to next quarter just to give staff time to try to navigate this. Because it might take a little bit of time going back and forth and finding the best spot right there. So I think giving them the 3 months is. I agree.
And then Angie, they can mark it off at OSTA, so it's safe for them to vote.
Yep.
I think it's good to not just have them every meeting as well.
Okay.
Okay. So, and go ahead, Trish.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve, I'm gonna say the high impact events, which include Building Man 2026, tell me if I'm wrong, Jenny Beth, and Red Rock Rally 2027.
I'll second that.
Okay. And Commissioner Martinez second. Any more discussion? Okay, let's call for a vote. Those in favor? All right. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Okay, so number 6 is Tess again, with immediate backfill position requests.
Oh, hey, wonderful. Thank you all. So we have a number of immediate backfill requests. We did break them into office / department, specifically elected offices, and then our non-elected department requests. I want to ensure that I'm able to support you in the best way possible. And so I would greatly appreciate feedback in terms of what information would be most beneficial for me to review. I included the backfill requests that were submitted by the department heads for every position, which do provide details such as when the position was or is becoming vacant, what fund the position will impact. We also ask questions such as, are there any cross-training or other alternative solutions that may allow us to delay an immediate backfill, et cetera. And so all of the requests that you see before you today, that sort of process of determining if there are any other alternatives has already been explored. And I also am happy to walk through the different funding sources of each of those requests to just very generally highlight for the on-call crisis nursery worker under the Family Support Center, which falls under the Greene County Attorney's Office. We received TANF funds for those positions, and for our Sand Flats recreation area position requests. Those are funded through the enterprise fund and don't dip into the general fund. The rest of the positions before you that you'll see today are all general fund impacts.
So would you repeat the ones that aren't?
Yes, the ones that are not are the on-call crisis nursery worker for the Family Support Center, which is a part-time as needed position. And then the Sand Flats recreation area seasonal positions. There are the recreation technician and the apprentice positions. Those are all funded by the enterprise fund and are all part-time seasonal positions.
So all the others will come out of general.
Out of the general fund. Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
So you want us to ask you questions?
I'm also happy to, I can,
No,
I apologize.
I can look at these one at a time. So we'll just start with A.
That'd be great.
And we will have the discussion about the assessor's position at the motor vehicle. And then we'll just move through each one. So I lump them together. We'll just start with this one and discuss it, vote, and then we'll move on to the next one.
That sounds good.
All right, so the assessor it's a deputy assessor, and I'll let Tess talk about it more. I do want to talk about it. I mean, it has the information in the packet, why we're needing that position and Jen's retiring, so, you want to ask Tess questions about it?
I'm just wondering, I'm just gonna make a general comment. Budgeting last year was very hard, as we all know, we were all a part of it. And one of the things that we did was put a hiring freeze on for 2026. And so it's January and we're already starting to talk about hiring folks. And I'm not opposed, I'm just wanting to kind of back up and go back to those discussions. And just realize that, and I've been thinking a lot, like, how do I say this? And I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but the best description is like, we're all a team, right? And we are going into 2026 in a deficit, pulling from reserves, 350K-ish. And the more that we, forego some of the decisions that we made, we're dipping into more reserves. And so I just want everybody, not only the commission, but department heads, to acknowledge, like, hopefully we're all working as a team to the best of our ability to make sure that we're, not pulling from those reserves in a manner that eventually puts us in jeopardy. We do have quite a healthy reserve now, but we took a lot out of reserves in 25 and we're already doing it in 26. And there's not a lot of those years, left before it's DEFCON 5 base. So I just hope tonight we can make decisions that are really being cognizant of the pickle that we're in and doing the best that we can, all of us. So that's all I'm going to say. And then I guess we can. So the one about this position, what I was wondering is, I know that it will, I'm assuming, be quite a bit cheaper, if we fill this position, in the sense that Jennifer was very high, I would assume, as far as step and lane. And so if we hire somebody, it'll be cheaper soon, and you can answer those questions. But I'm also wondering, is it feasible to fill it with somebody that's part-time, right? So that we're not having to provide benefits. And those are maybe questions for Debbie also. And I'm just, again, trying to save money. So I don't know, Debbie, if you want to come up also and just kind of maybe describe the position, and that just might help us make smart decisions.
Yeah, so the employee that'll be hiring for will be Jennifer's position. So it'll be a motor vehicle supervisor. So it can't be a part-time position. It's a full-time job. Plus, she doesn't only just do motor vehicle. That's what I don't think a lot of people understand. She does all the ordering for the office, all the ordering for motor vehicle, as well as she does all the mobile homes. So billing, collecting, and appraising. So that's what this position will be going for.
Okay. And it was in your 26 budget, obviously. Right. Okay.
Okay. We're gonna move on. Are we good to move on to Brian? Okay, we got Brian and then Bill and then Mike and then Mary. So just so you guys know, I got you all. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Commissioner Martinez.
Yeah, just maybe one thing is if you could mention the fiscal impact of this. I think as we move through these positions, I think that will be helpful. That way we understand when we are or are not pulling further into reserves
And how much.
and how much we are going in. So if we could add that in, when I went through these, there wasn't anything listed really on the fiscal impact. And so I'm sure that, I think some of those considerations might be trainings or things like that we might need to add in for new employees. So if we had an idea of, hey, when we do backfill this position, this is what we're looking for.
Yes, that's great. I have the fiscal impacts for salary and benefits for all the positions that are being presented this evening. So of course, because we the vast majority of the time don't know who is going to fill a position. We use some generalizations, right, which are just based on, you know, what is typically the average step that we bring in for this type of position, what is, you know, a good average health insurance plan cost, et cetera. So for the deputy assessor position, the estimated salary somebody would be brought in at would be $57,378. And the benefits, and what I'll also provide as a caveat, well, actually, I provided my caveat, never mind. And then for benefits, $13,444.
So maybe we could actually have that in two spots, like, you know, what's the additional gonna be, but also when there's gonna be a savings as well, a negative, that something like this, you know, as we're gonna be dropping down from that step in grade, so that we see that we're actually gonna be taking savings. I think that would.
Right, the likelihood is that this position, that whoever backfills this position would not have the same experience that would bring them in at the same rate. So that's something that I can also calculate quickly.
Thank you.
That covers these positions rather than diving into what kind of an impact on the general fund or whatever this is, when that's mandated by statute. I think we have to be real careful here. And so with that, I would make the motion that we approve the deputy assessor, the assessor's office emergency backfill request.
Okay, we have a second from five. All right, let's go ahead. We had few more people who wanted to speak. Go ahead, Mike.
I can attest from being in that line today, this is a needed function for our citizens. Even at the window, I didn't know she went out and that Jen went out and assessed that extra stuff. But in the end, it's gonna save us money, bringing a new person in and still process our constituents and our county goers. So that is a win-win.
Mary.
My question was maybe to Gabe or maybe to both, is since it was already in budget, right? You put it in budget. So the impact of having this has already been assessed and is part of the $350,000 that is that right, Gabe?
So it would depend on, this position wasn't vacant during the budget season, so it'd depend on if the estimates that were prepared to measure the impact of the hiring freeze, if they accounted for the knowledge that this would become vacant. You know what I'm saying, Tess?
I do, yes. That was not factored into the personnel budget that was prepared for.
Okay, so this
was not, and that's what I wanted to know. So this would add an impact to our general fund of $60,440 right now.
It would amount to a savings because of the lower pay scale of the new person.
So it would end up being a savings, okay. Yeah, okay, thank you.
And the estimated savings, if you will, again, we can't speak to exactly what a new person would come in at, but it would be roughly around $25,000, salary and benefits included.
Okay. Any more discussion? I gotta raise hands. So we have a motion from Bill to approve this position and a second from Mike. So we'll call for a vote. Those in favor? And that pass unanimous. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, our next one is the recorder. So it's the chief deputy recorder and Bill already has a hand up. Do you want to let Tess talk or just go ahead?
Yeah,
okay.
And I'm happy to provide this as a clarification as or have become vacant. And so all of them were included in the 2026 personnel budgets for these offices and departments.
Hey, do you want to speak to your position, Gina?
If anybody has any questions, then I'm happy.
Bill's gonna go for it. Bill had his hand up first, sorry. Go ahead and I'll be next.
I'm gonna go with the same thing. This is statute, and so I'm gonna make the motion to approve this chief deputy for the recorder's office emergency backfill request.
Second.
For Bill, and then Commissioner Martinez seconded. So now I'll go ahead and let you.
Was this in your 2026 budget though? Because I'm trying to remember. Because I know your budget came in way under, which is great. But I don't know if this one was in your budget.
The chief deputy?
Yeah.
I put it in there as apparently as a proposed. I'm not sure how it came in the budget, but I put it into my budget that was request. So where that money went after my request, I have no idea.
But it was in your budget?
I put the request in when I went to the BAB, it was in there.
I guess I was just trying to remember. I remember you were quite a bit under budget, and maybe my memory was you said that. Do you have fewer employees in there? Maybe I'm just remembering.
Because the workload is so low right now.
Right.
I could have kept the 2 deputies and appointed a chief.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what I was allowed.
Okay.
But because the workload is so minimal right now,
Okay.
I don't need 2 deputies and a chief.
That's all I
Yeah.
needed. I was sorry. My memory, I was like,
Yeah, it's
Okay,
just
perfect.
completely overstaffed if I did that. If I
Okay,
kept the 2 and then appointed a chief.
okay.
Yeah.
So in theory, this position is within her 2026 budget.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good. That was my memory and that's how
Yeah, that's what I was struggling with.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Gina.
that's okay.
Okay, Commissioner McCurdy.
Thanks for that additional clarifying information requested there. You state, I am required by state code to keep the office open and available. Also, you said, as an elected official, I am required to stay current on state statute, ensuring continuity and be available to serve the public. Is a state statute.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, it is.
we all get handed those orders, so
Yes.
I understand.
All right, great. Any more comments, questions? Okay, so we have a motion on the floor from Commissioner Winfield and a second by McCurdy, all in favor of this. Okay, that passed unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, our next position is our task force commander and dispatcher for Grand County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, come up.
So last year, we tried to come in under budget, so we froze the task force commander position and we froze the dispatcher position. We have since received a payment from the city of Moab for dispatch service. And we have a verbal agreement that the other agencies will be submitting a payment once we get the MOU signed. And then something to talk about with dispatch, we have standards that we're required to maintain 2 on at all times dispatch. So that's why it's a position for the dispatcher. The task force commander is a very important position for public safety. Our lieutenant did a great job at being our task force commander last year, but he was just moved to salary and he is already busy with overseeing patrol and investigations. And with this position, we plan on promoting that internally and then filling whoever promotes that. That's what we're looking for, is that deputy to maintain.
Go ahead, Commissioner McGann.
I like to clarify somehow, to make sure I understand correctly. So what you're saying is you're going to move within the office,
That's the plan
the plan.
for the task force.
But then you will have the vacancy.
We'd have an open deputy position ideally, and that's what we're looking for, hiring that person if we promote from within the agency. We also have a roster of qualified candidates that have passed all their backgrounds. They're ready to go on a job. And so it just needed to be plugged in regards to the dispatch position. But the task force commander, we ideally want it to be promoted from within the agency.
So Jameson, is this 2 positions or 1? So task force commander and dispatcher?
I would just say it's just a deputy position.
We're really just a deputy position.
Because everybody's going.
Okay, Commissioner Winfield had a comment.
Yeah, I had a question. So what is the impact financially? And then I'll make a motion.
So I have, again, estimates, and what I'll say for the task force commander slash patrol deputy 3 position is previously we've brought in very tenured, very experienced law enforcement officers to take that position, and so we essentially estimated the salary and benefits as such that it would be a very, very qualified person that is very high in our graded step chart. So the estimated salary that we have for the task force commander is $113,929, and estimated benefits in the amount of $67,505 for a total of $181,434. Again, all of that really depends on years of service, whether or not they're tier 2 to tier 1 in our Utah retirement systems, because we contribute a different amount of retirement to their account, depending on how long they've been in URS. So a lot of different factors, but that 181,000 approximated for the total is what we came up with for the task force.
Well, I'll make the motion to approve that position.
We have a motion and Mary seconds. Okay, Jacques.
Yeah, so if Jameson, if this is promoted from within, would that position that's vacated come back for us as a paid position then?
I mean, ideally, I'd like to just.
I'm just curious.
That's why
about the
this
process.
is confusing, because we just want to promote from within and hire a replacement. That's just what this is.
So after all the shuffling's done, then fill the position that is left vacant.
Yes, looking at one.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, deputy.
And if we promote from within, we might be able to save money compared to hiring somebody with a lot of experience and costing us a lot more money.
Go ahead.
You'd mentioned MOUs that you're waiting to go in, and that's gonna be with,
In regards to dispatch, City of Moab, EMS and fire. And we're currently, the department heads and I are currently working on making that happen.
Yeah, so technically this could be just a zero, because currently it was in your budget, but it's froze at the moment, so it was froze. But if we have that revenue coming in, well, help from the city and EMS and fire, then it's gonna be a wash and we won't be pulling more from reserves for this position. So, go ahead, did somebody else there have a comment? Oh, go ahead, Bill.
I will real quick. And so is this still working with admin sheriff on that city MOU? Okay, thank you. That's what I thought.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Where I don't think she's expressed interest in the position, I am going to abstain from the vote because my wife works for the sheriff's department. But I am happy to see you're working from within.
Okay. All right, there's no further comments or questions. Then let's call for a vote. We had a motion by Bill and second by Mary, and all in favor? Okay, so that passes 6 with 1 abstaining. Commissioner McCurdy. Thank you.
We, the task force commander, can we clarify for the dispatcher, since the task force commander is a patrol position, the dispatcher is in the Grand County dispatch team, so they're 2 separate positions. I apologize.
That wasn't clarified. Was that the total amount for both positions, or that was just the task force?
For the task force commander position. So for the dispatcher position, the estimated salary is $50,980, and the estimated benefits is $42,099 for a total of $93,079.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Is this to come in compliance with some of the state mandates? Yeah. Figured it was.
Yep.
We need a motion on both positions. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, because I think we were just voting on the one position, which was technically deputy, because he's gonna hopefully.
Okay, I just.
I wasn't sure either, so, yeah. But now we have it, so it's 2 positions, so the task force and dispatch.
I'll make that motion again.
Okay. Bill makes motion, Mike seconds.
It's not my wife's, so
Okay.
staying with us.
Any more questions, comments? Okay, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. Those in favor of the dispatch position to be reinstated? All right, that passes 7-0 unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to the non-elected positions, which she spoke about. These are coming from the Sand Flats and also a grant or the grant. Oh, no, wait, sorry. I was skipping ahead.
No, thank you. So for the non-elected, non-elected department position, so we have both Sand Flats and the airport that have submitted emergency or immediate backfill requests. For Sand Flats, they are seasonal positions, 2 recreation technician positions and 1 apprentice position. The apprentice position is actually designed to be occupied by a high schooler. And then the recreation technician positions are seasonal. And so the hope is that if these were approved, and again, they're funded by the enterprise fund, as everything with Sand Flats is, that these positions would be posted and we would have the folks that occupy them trained and ready to go before the season really starts kicking off here, just around the corner somehow already.
And that is a direct zero impact.
To the general fund. Yes.
It's also, can I speak? It's also no change to our budget, because these are positions that I had people in, but they've had to drop down their hours and one person actually transferred to another county department.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Martinez.
I'd like to make a motion, move to approve the Sand Flats Recreation Tech 2 and the Sand Flats Apprentice.
Second by Mike. And so that is 2 positions we are voting on.
Technically total, yes, 2 recreation technician positions and 1 apprentice.
Okay. Your positions total. Any more discussion, any questions? Go ahead, Mike.
We advertise that in the high school? Cool.
Yep, every year.
That's something I didn't know about when I was.
Do you go to the career fair?
Pardon me?
Do you go to the career fair that they have at the high school?
When is that? I think that's.
It's gotta be soon, yeah.
To check, because it seemed like we were, maybe the timing wasn't right before, but let's see, we did stop during, for a few years after COVID. So we started up 2 years ago again.
Good to hear.
Find that email and send it to you.
Okay, yeah.
Information.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to go up there. Okay, so we have a motion from Brian and a second from Mike. All in favor? Okay. That passes 6-7-0 unanimously. Thank you. Went to the airport.
Excellent, yes, and I believe Steve Gleason, the airport director, is still here with us. So the backfill request, I'll specify there's a backfill request, and then just a clarification and ensuring that that we're being transparent about still the posting of the operations manager position. But for the backfill request, our administrative assistant is leaving employment with the county, and so we do have that part-time assistant position that's budgeted at 20 hours a week. That is now vacant. There is actually also another position that's vacant, but Steve has declined to submit a backfill request and is looking at some other creative solutions to try to backfill that position, which is so greatly appreciated. And then for the operations manager position, luckily that position would be able to, and we approved this with the reclassifications for 2026. But again, just to make sure transparency, everything is clear. We would like to go ahead and post that position so that we can recruit for that, and they would be able to provide both ARF, so that firefighter position services as well as managerial roles. And the operations manager is a required position for a Part 139 airport certificate through the FAA.
Okay, so Bill had his hand up first.
And then these are already in his budget, right? So we're just filling, okay.
Yeah,
That's my question, so.
if 3 openings were for 2 of them.
It was more clarification for the general public than myself.
Commissioner McCurdy.
I move to approve we fill the airport's backfill position. as stated.
Motion by Commissioner McCurdy, second by Winfield. Any more discussion or questions? Go ahead, Jean.
What is the third position that you have open?
We have two ARF positions.
Okay.
Open. We're down 3 employees right now. So by hiring the ops manager, which was our, that's going to fill one of those ARF positions. Then we're looking at some other ways of maybe covering that ARF. We won't be able to do it forever, but we might be able to do it for the time being and help out.
Great. Is that a full-time position?
It is. Thanks.
Okay, anybody else? I thank you. Go ahead and call for a vote to approve the airport positions. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. All right, the next one is the on-cry crisis nursery worker. And this is the grant.
Yes, it is grant funded through the state of Utah. I believe it's temporary assistance for needy families grant funding. And this position is again part-time as needed. We have it budgeted for a salary of $9,537 and then $730 in fringe benefits. I actually pulled the hours of the employee that has vacated this position, and they came in under that last year. So they didn't even work the number of hours that had been budgeted for the grant.
Go ahead, Commissioner McCurdy.
I'd like to approve the on-call crisis worker position as stated.
Second. Okay, Brian, second. Any more questions or discussion? Go ahead, Jean.
But just curious if this is if this state of Utah grant is federal pass-through money that could be with due to the current state of federal affairs. Do you know, Stephen?
I do not. I know it's provided by the state, but I don't know where those funds derive from.
That's a Commissioner Hadler, that's a great question. My at least previous understanding of TAM is that it was federal pass through, but certainly that's something that we can check in on.
I'd expect that it is, but yeah.
I think it's a very necessary service though, being able to provide placement for children who've been removed from their homes due to child abuse. So I think it's
Well, it's really needed.
yeah, it's definitely a needed
Let's hope
service.
the funding continues.
I do as well.
Okay, so go ahead and call for a vote. So we had a motion by Commissioner McCurdy and a second by Commissioner Martinez. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah. All right. Awesome people to fill. All right, so it is moving on to number 7. Is Melissa online or is
At least
6?
6, so.
This is
This is exactly what we voted on
Yeah.
last week. It's just within the packet.
Oh,
That's the only.
ordinance was not in the packet.
Yeah.
So we already went over this with Melissa. Oh, so I was like, so all we're doing is voting on the ordinance. All right, Commissioner Winfield.
I move to approve the grant administration policy ordinance as presented and as discussed in the previous meeting.
Okay, Mary seconds. Any discussion? Okay, go ahead and call for a vote. Those in favor? All right, so that passes 5 with 2 absent. Commissioner Hadler and Commissioner McCurdy are absent. Moving on to 8. I think this is the same thing that we just had to do with ordinance. No. Go ahead, come on up.
I have a revised plat map that shows the actual easements. Andrew Jackson, planning director, Grand County. Ben Bird, Vista Antigua Holdings, LLC, and Stephen E. Beachman owned approximately 4.3 acres, lots 5, 6, 7, 30, and 31. In the Vista Antigua PUD located approximately 4,100 Vista Antigua Road. The representative of Vista Antigua LLC declared to have a minor lot line adjustments to follow drainage channels, as well as create a 30-foot wide drainage easement within the proposed plat amendment. basically, the background on this is they've had a couple events there and found out that where they had the lot lines, the events, the flooding events didn't follow lot lines. So they're readjusting the lot lines to show where the flooding events have occurred. So this will allow to be able to have that easement through there, and all parties have signed notarized statements agreeing to the plat. More of a lot line adjustment. There is also some easement.
Trish.
So I have some questions. I was struggling a little bit with the agenda, the agenda summary and it's diving with the staff report, because in the agenda summary, it says amendment for common boundary lines between lots and amending that 30-foot drainage. It also includes a parcel of land set aside for future developments. And that kind of like, that's what got my pinging. And then I guess I didn't see that on the staff report. Like this addition for future.
Yeah. And so if you look on this handout, you'll see kind of on the eastern side halfway, you've got tract B not amended. And so that's what we're talking about there, is that they'll still have to come in and do
Here's your
subdivision plat on that. But it just shows that there's an easement crossing that parcel. However, that parcel is not included in any subdivision plat at this time.
Okay, that makes more sense. And then maybe these are questions also for you, Stephen. So my understanding, and again, this is maybe where I need you to help me a little bit. And if we don't know, maybe we need Mark's help. My understanding is you can't amend a PUD without it going back to the public hearing, scenarios, right? So maybe help me with that. Like, to me, this would be considered, common area, and you can't amend it via a resolution. We need to do an ordinance, but maybe I'm wrong. And so I just need your assistance here.
So how Bart reviewed it and looked at it was he looked at it and said it was either designation between a simple and a full boundary adjustment.
Okay.
And asked, and this is his statement, he said a simple boundary adjustment must be approved or consented to by the land use authority if it's compliant. A full boundary adjustment likewise must be approved by the zoning authority, but a county can require the request to go through the plat amendment process as a condition of consent. So it says boundary adjustments do not create additional lots and parcels. A simple one is where the adjustment wouldn't affect a public right of way, county utility easement, or other public property. Affect the existing easement, on-site water system, or internal lot restriction, or result in a non-conforming lot or parcel. Full boundary adjustment, on the other hand, is a boundary adjustment that doesn't meet the definition of a simple boundary adjustment.
And we did get, because this was platted and the lots are under different ownership, we did get all owners to sign notarized statements on.
Okay. So we're not dealing, Andrew, right now with lots, those ones not amended. Those are out. I mean, we're just dealing.
We're just dealing with those, just adjusting those lot lines from where they were before. They still maintain the minimum lot size requirements, but basically we're just following where the natural drainage is.
You mind just really quick for the public, or maybe that don't know, can you describe what a PUD is? Do you mind doing that?
Yeah, it's planning and development. So typically that will allow some discretion on the developer to allow possibly different densities. There may be trade-offs where you have private roads, which is really a bad idea to trade density for private roads, because those roads only stay private until they're no longer in good repair, and then those property owners want the community to take those over. And so it allows, again, some leniency in setbacks, or how the densities are arranged on the property. Within the Grand County Code, you don't receive any density bonuses, except there's two planning districts that you receive density bonuses in, but you don't receive a density bonus in the Grand County Code for the other zones under planned unit development.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think the more that we can educate the public and ourselves, that helps. Thank you.
And then to add on that, based on the review, the attorney's office, we are going to make a recommendation to bring the land use code into compliance with state law regarding the boundary adjustments. From Bart's position, it says the county's land use code presents a catch-22. It has a process for a lot line adjustment for properties that are not within a subdivision, land use code 9.9, but it contradictorily defines a lot adjustment as relocating the boundary between lots within a subdivision, land use code 10.2. This makes no sense. So he's recommending some adjustments to that section to make some adjustments. And so those will be coming from our office soon.
And we're aware of that.
Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make the motion. We recommend approval of the amended plat for this subdivision.
Okay, and Mike seconds. Any more questions or discussion? Okay, Andrew, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. Then all in favor of the resolution to dispense with the subdivision amendment plat? 6 with 1 absent. Commissioner McGann. Moving right along. Number 9 is approve Madden Media's paid media plan for 2026. So this is with our assistant marketing director.
Hi. Seen you in a while.
So. All right. So, Nick Saleta, Assistant Marketing Director at the Moab Office of Tourism. This will be the 3rd time that the commission has looked at this in some iteration. You approved our budget, which included these funds. And in the packet is the amended contract with Madden Media, which included a total spend. In that contract, there's a paid media line. So what you have today in individual tactics and what they'll call that 1.4 million will be spent. So I'm happy to answer questions about that. There are 31 media placements, like I said, for 1.4 million. And yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Martinez.
I move to approve the Madden Media 2026 paid media plan. I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Hadler.
And then I'll just make a quick comment. And if anybody has a chance, it was very insightful. If you watch the workshop where they actually presented on that, they kind of tell you exactly where they're going, why they're spending the money, and what the community is getting out of it. So I think that they did a great job presenting that workshop.
They also reviewed 2025, and it includes return on investment, which informed a lot of why we're going on the workshop.
Saw those workshops. They look very in-depth. Thank you for putting that on. It let many of our attendees know and get that information. I felt like I was left out of that process in past, and I feel much more informed about our media services now. So that's great.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot to fit into a board or a couple minute presentation. So we've kind of been doing those to spend more time, especially given the big spend, where we can go in more detail.
And just also a quick plug for any businesses that are watching. That's a great place to see which direction the county is going. So if you want to, follow our path and their actions.
Tactic and creative.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, I will call for a vote. Those in favor? Passes 5 with 2 absent, Commissioner McGann and Commissioner McCandless. And so with that, I will let you go back.
That was fast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Got all those slides I thought you might go through. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to number 10. And that was the low income housing loan contract that was pulled from the consent agenda. And let's see. Who wants to speak to this? We'll just go ahead and let Trish talk because she wanted to hold, so.
Yeah, I wanted to pull just to maybe ask Stephen just to help us a little bit with a couple questions, and then, yeah, I think most of these questions might come from you for some clarification. So one, I still don't know if we have a firm grasp on where these monies are coming from. We definitely had 85,000-ish that we had set aside for affordable housing, but this far exceeds that. Did talk that they were gonna be pulled from our fee in lieu, but I don't know if we ever have solidified that. And I don't know, Stephen, if you could help me with that.
That's not my wheelhouse.
Or admin.
Is admin or Gabe would be your.
Well, I already talked to Gabe today, and he deferred this to you or admin.
Decisions on where funding comes from.
Okay. So any comments from admin if we're pulling these monies from our fee in lieu?
I do think you can, I think you can utilize those funds. I don't know if that's the idea behind it, but I think that was one of the ideas, that there was some funding. I believe it was from Scenic View that had originally put down some funding for the fee in lieu of the on-site affordable housing back then. I don't know where the remainder. And I identified it as a potential source.
Yeah, I believe when we did the budget, it was coming from that money. That's what got approved from. It was not being pulled out of the general fund, or it was.
I don't think that was ever solidified, actually. So I do think, is that the final statement, that it's coming out of fee and lieu, not out of general fund?
I think.
I'm looking past you, sorry.
I would say that I would ask for an official opinion from the attorney on the state of the contract, but I think that the contract does have language that makes that seem like a possibility.
Okay, I have some other questions, if that's okay.
Oh, okay, let's let Trish keep going, okay.
I'll put my hand out, but I'm.
Yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
next.
And then Stephen, as far as I saw the maturation date, 2055, so I'm just assuming that it's a 30-year loan.
Yes.
Okay, and I just so you guys know, I did a quick amortization schedule through that end, and so we would be getting a return of about $8,000 a year as far as principal and interest, just so you guys know.
Well, I mean, the payments.
Well, yeah, this is maybe where, yeah, go for it.
Okay, well.
Or maybe you can help me.
On the payment, so on paragraph 2, payments of principal and interest, it'll do payments of interest only. And then they'll pay, it looks like they will pay the subordinate promissory notes in the amount of $1,770,336. And then that's $675,720. Then eventually it'll start paying more than just interest only, but it's starting.
So initially just interest only, okay.
Correct. And that's in paragraph number 2, payments of principal and interest.
Okay, so if I were to use my amortization schedule, that'd be about $2,000 a year.
Correct. Because it's gonna be 1% of the total loan.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's what I threw in. And then Stephen, as far as, and I don't know if we've ever solidified this, what is our position? Like we talked a little bit about positioning. Do you know where we would lie? So let's say they defaulted.
Oh, yeah.
Could you just
Sure.
illustrate that a little bit?
Yeah, in the contract, it does specifically state, and this was something that Melissa Jeffers highlighted. This is what's utilized as gap funding.
Yes.
And so we are junior or a lower level on a secured interest than anybody else. In the document, it does specifically note that this will be subordinate to any or lesser than any other priority standpoints. So if there was a bankruptcy, how it works, if anybody gets foreclosed on or any of that, what you do is whoever's first in time is first by right. And so if it's put to auction, then they will make sure that they put it out for auction. Let's imagine $1 million piece of property. If the loans were for 1.7 million and different pieces were 300,000, 500,000 and above, worst case scenario, it gets auctioned off. I will say that auctions are uncommon. I've represented folks and you stand out on the courthouse steps and you list it out. If it does go to auction, it is kind of scary because whoever shows up, usually there's like 3 people that show up because you have to produce cash. They will satisfy whoever they can in that priority list from the first up. And so it does put you in a less than advantageous situation. But if the overall value of the project is worth more than all of the other liens, and so I mean they've got call it 2.5. So if the project is worth 2.7 or 2.8 million, then you'd be in a better spot. I do not have an estimate or evaluation on that. But that's what happens when you do that. You get in line. And same with if any of us ever have bankruptcies, you put all your debt in and then they pull out what they can. But in this process, it's structured that way. I don't know how much more you want, but that's.
No, that's great. I just think it's really good for people to have a overall understanding.
And it applies to the land, likely if they're buying assets and they're receiving a loan, there's a thing called purchase security money interest. And that actually attaches to items and fixtures above and beyond and faster than other ones, but those are all called secured transactions. And we have to take it in law school, but it's not something that I interact with all too often. But it's the priority list.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? And just one other note. So all of the 4 things that Commissioner, I believe Commissioner Martinez, if my memory is serving me, all those 4 things previously that they requested, that there were loan documentation, we've received those. The deed restriction, it's in fact 55 years. Our ask was 50. We did receive the return of the documents. There is the requirement for vertical construction. That's in the red line version of the document, and that's called out. So that is in there. $200,000 loan, 1% interest payments only. And then there's no penalty for prepaying early. So those were the kind of the highlights, but all of the terms that Commissioner Martinez originally put out, all those are in place and now the policy's in place as well. So if anybody else has any other questions, let me know.
Did you get all your questions answered?
I got all my questions
Okay.
answered. I'll make a comment later once everybody.
Okay, so we'll move over to Commissioner McCurdy.
Again, it's been stated before, we put our foot forward into low-income housing, $200,000, and we earned interest. We earned $2,000 in interest, give or take, every year. I mean, this is me leaning over at the TI over there. This should be cried out on front page that commission's finally putting skin in the game, some low-income housing, and I am proud to be part of the commission doing that.
One housekeeping, just again, thinking for when these funds come in, the accounts receivable. I don't know how they get tracked or marked or tagged for these funds to go back. And I know it's a longer period of time until the full amount comes back in, but I don't know what we would need from either Gabe's position or standpoint to earmark when those checks come in to go back into the fee in lieu to be able to utilize it as a revolving. I don't know how that happens. I'd encourage us to figure that out so that there's a mechanism, because the full amount of it's likely will be paid probably when, I mean, hopefully everybody's retired or happy at that point.
30 years from now anyway.
My kids, yes.
I won't be here.
Okay, so we had a motion from Mike. Second from Brian. Okay, and then did you want,
Yeah, I just wanted a quick comment, from the business summit that we were at. Corey Shurtleff gave a presentation on kind of where the city was as far as the pipeline, and it was informative. One of the things that he mentioned is that there's 1,500 or 1,579 units in the pipeline that's in some stage of development, kind of getting there. Of those, 29% of that are attainable units. So when you look at this, that ends up being, about 400 units somewhere in the pipeline that are going to be attainable. So out of this, we're looking at 124 units that are going to be affordable, which is underneath that. That's at 60 and below AMI. So I think that we're really putting a big dent into affordable housing with this. I mean, it's a sizable dent when you look at it with those numbers right there. 29%, 400 and some units, 124 of those are affordable units with this project. So And he also did mention in there, which was interesting, it's something I think that we all knew, but that the low income is the most, is what's in most need right now. You know, those are the units that are in the most needed, or those low income. So just wanted to put those out. Thanks.
Did we have, I saw your hand coming up, does it just?
I was just gonna make a comment of nobody else.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna vote for this, and it is not at all because I'm not working towards affordable housing. We've already had this discussion many times, all of the things that we've done for affordable housing. I'm not gonna vote for it just because of the process was so askew. And I just hope, and I'm no longer on the affordable housing subcommittee, and I hope that in the future, you know, those things can be done in a very systematic way. This was, you know, done, it was just done, and then we had to backtrack and put the policy in place, put the loan docs in place, and I think that we're better than that. I think we can do a better job than that.
Good job.
I'm not gonna vote for it either. I mean, again, like Trish said, I think we've all talked about how much we've done for affordable housing. I'm sure that this money isn't gonna come out of the general fund, and it sounds like we're still inconclusive to some degree. Then I think the loan, I wouldn't be in favor of it coming out of the general fund.
Go ahead, Brian.
When will we know?
Can we text Gabe? Because he was here.
And follow up tomorrow and send you all.
That's a big thing. That's pretty significant. Is it coming out of general fund or will it be coming out of?
And I know in the budget we approved, it was not coming out of general fund, it was coming out of the fee and lieu in the budget that we approved, so.
It was,
If it gets moved out of there and that's.
I'll remember that.
So.
that's my point. It's clear the intent of the paperwork. It's clear the intent of what we wanted. Gabe knows that.
Gabe did not say that today. I called him specifically to talk about.
Where did he
this.
go then?
Well, then Mark will follow up. Him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to state this was previously approved. We continually are providing negative comment on a much needed housing niche for this local workforce, Grand County's local workforce, and the city of Moab employees benefit as well. I don't mean employees of the city. I mean those people that need this housing the most, our workforce that's within this county. So I think that this is just continually an issue, and it's a political issue, and I think that it's time to put our political differences aside. Again, I'm going to encourage you to vote for this. This is for the most needy in this community, and to continually make it a political issue makes no sense. Let's put our differences aside. We're actually providing a loan that will eventually be repaid. This is not coming out of our general fund. We've already approved this, so let's move on. Let's build some housing for those that need it.
Okay, go ahead, Trish, and then Brian.
Well, we actually don't know if it's what fund it's coming out of. I think we can all agree on that. We have admin telling us that right now we don't know. We may know tomorrow. So that being said, I would recommend that we just postpone this until the next meeting. And then at least if we knew what fund, you might gather more votes. You might not gather my vote. Yeah, you might. That would be a recommendation.
Good. Commissioner Martinez.
Commissioner, thank you, Chair. You know, it was stated originally that if we had the loan documents in front of Commissioner Hedin, if we had the policy in place, if we were ready to go, that she would vote for this no matter what. And here we are again with her gonna not vote for this. And I don't know how we can bring Commissioner Hedin along. I think that government is messy. When we do these kind of things, it is going to be messy. And I think that that's good. In the long run, I think government is supposed to be messy. And we're supposed to be kind of stumbling around trying to figure these things out. And to myself, it doesn't matter if this is coming out of the fee in lieu of housing or this is coming out of our general fund. It's a project that's worth doing, right? This is half of the affordable affordable housing that's in the pipeline right now. I could not look at myself in the mirror if I took half of the affordable housing out of the pipeline.
Go ahead.
Call for a vote,
Ready to call for a vote?
please.
Well, I was gonna comment.
Oh, no, I will sit back to that.
I just, I know we talked about how Grant County is only growing at a 5.4% rate, which is, I think, shocking to all of us because we don't even think Grant County is growing. As far as population goes, but the state of Utah is growing at a 20%. And it really boils down to not having any place for people to live. I mean, we can't grow because, and the people that live in their vans and live, out camping, they don't count to that population. So I think that housing is super important, and we're going to continue to do things with our housing. We have more money in that fee in lieu, and hopefully we will continue to work to benefit, whether it's down payment assistance or whatever it is. So we have more money in that, and we're going to continue to work for housing, but this is going to be that first step, and we're going to have homes next year for people to live in.
And I just had a question on what you said. You said they don't count the people that are living in their vans and are homeless? They do on the census. They count
Find
them.
them. Well, yeah, but not the campers and stuff. I mean, I don't think that they count.
They go and find, that's a huge, so I was on the task force at one time, trying to find everyone who works and lives in Moab, whether they're living in a van or a tent or homeless, they are counted.
Wow. Well, then we're gonna be able to grow a lot more than 5%, hopefully.
I think we're low because it was during COVID and we weren't getting our seasonal workers,
Just don't have the homes.
And then with those homes, we're gonna have work there. I mean, Andy at our EMS meeting today was talking about how we just can't retain EMTs because there's no place for them to live. Half of our force actually comes over from Grand Junction, our EMTs. So anyways, with that, go ahead, Stephen.
So based on the information that Quinn just forwarded me, the original deposit into that account was $350,000 as of April. That was back in April of 2021. So the commission, if there was concern, theoretically could make a contingent on the funds coming out of that fee in lieu account. That would be one option to it. I don't know of anything that's identifiable as pulling out of that account. It's not my wheelhouse though, and in my discussions with Gabe and Mark, I don't know of anything that's been pulled out. We believe it's over the $200,000. So if you could make a contingent on that.
Ocean? Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and call for a vote. So we had my Commissioner McCurdy made a motion, Brian seconded, and we'll call for a vote for all those in favor of the low income housing loan contract. Okay, and those opposed? All right, that passes 5-2 with Commissioner Hadeen and Commissioner Heather opposed. And with that, we have 3 minutes till citizens to be heard. But I think we can go ahead and open it up. Yeah, it's close enough. We'll wait till 6 in case anybody comes in the door. So, is there anybody here that wants to come up and speak? Citizens to be heard?
On the 6 o'clock one?
Well, we usually don't let people talk twice. You got something, a different subject?
Well, it's the same thing. I want to clarify something, so.
Go ahead, come clarify.
I can clarify, okay.
Fly on the fly.
I don't know if I made myself clear on the Red Rock Rally.
Give us your name.
Can't Green, Red Rock Rally. I don't know if I clarified it on our event where there's a Mad Moose running on Saturday. On Saturday during our event over behind rocks. We are not doing that trail. We pulled our assignment off that trail. Just, I wanted to clarify that and let you know. And that's what I meant by a conflict. So we just pulled out of it. We're gonna run a different trail where it doesn't conflict with the runners and stuff, so. Go ahead.
No conversation back and forth between citizens.
Oh, okay, sorry.
My bad.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that.
All right, do we have any other citizens to be heard? Come on up. Say your name.
Craig Nelson. I'm just here to introduce myself. I'm going through the process of trying to get on the ballot to run for sheriff in Grand County. So I attended this meeting to learn something, watch how the commission interacts, just get a feel for what's going on a larger scale. So I do appreciate seeing you all, and it's quite interesting listening to you talk back and forth, and it is educational. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? Now it's 6 o'clock. Oh, still there, 5:59. 6 o'clock.
Just hit it.
All right, do we have any other citizens to be heard? And it doesn't look like we have anybody online. The boring meeting we had. All right, well, with that, since some of us are traveling up to the state tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up our meeting. There is some information on the fixed skyway tax subcommittee that we had. If you're interested, it is on the agenda packets. And also, we all have our reports in there as well, so you can read those. That will be all enough to in between meetings in the last 2 weeks. And with that, I will adjourn our meeting at